Zamfara State government to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage to local government workers. Yari gathers Zamfara APC members for crisis resolution. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, says female Muslim students have constitutional right to use hijab. The Senate raises alarm over escalating unemployment in the country. On business, NLC prepares for showdown with state governors on minimum wage. On sports, Egavon supports Roa wants new clubs in fresh deal. On the international scene, President Buhari condemns terrorist killing of 67 soldiers in Niger Republic. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Musa Joy Onyoza, and reading with me today is
Samira Ibrahim. Thank you for joining us.
Now the news in full. The chairman Zamfara State Local Government Service Commission, Alhaji Malami Endoto, has said that the state government would pay the 30,000 naira minimum wage to council workers in the state. The chairman made the disclosure in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Gusau on Tuesday. Malami Endoto noted with concern the poor working conditions of local government employees that were subjected to being on a salary below the former 18,000 naira minimum wage. He said the full implementation of the new minimum wage to local government employees would enable them to value the virtues of punctuality and commitment to work. He said henceforth local government service commission will shoulder the responsibility of payment of local government staff salary, proper monitoring and improvement of staff commitment to duty. He said the commission will no longer fold its arms to allow political office holders victimize civil servants for reasons contrary to the rule of law. Malami Endoto maintained that the commission was determined to sponsor local government staff to further their studies in any relevant institution of their choice, even outside the country.
The Senate has raised the alarm over the escalating unemployment in Nigeria, calling on the federal, state and local governments to declare emergency on the state of joblessness in the country. The upper legislative chamber also urged the federal government through the Ministry of National Planning to put up mechanisms and programs that will provide employment for our teeming unemployed graduates, youth at all tiers of government. The upper legislative house also called on the federal government to initiate a sustainable unemployment fund for the payment of living stipends to unemployed Nigerians until such persons secure any kind of employment. The resolution was quelled to a motion entitled Escalating Rate of Unemployment in the Country, sponsored by former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, on Wednesday. The lawmaker noted that the worsening unemployment statistics in the country during plenary expressed concern that the large number of various levels of graduates chunked out by various higher institutions of learning on an annual basis, but who could not be absorbed by the labor market, were a time bomb waiting to explode. He said the report published by the National Bureau of Statistics in 2019 states that Nigeria's unemployment rate stood at 23.1% of the workforce in the third quarter of 2019. The statement credited to the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Senator Chris Njeje, and published by the Premium Times on 9th November 2019 showed that Nigeria's unemployment rate will hit that 3.5% by 2020. He said a situation where every graduate has to queue up for a job only in government offices is an indication of the breakdown of private sector, which is the major driver of the world economy. The former Deputy Senate President stated that unemployment was one of the major reasons why insurgency, kidnapping, armed robbery, cybercrimes and other vices were on the increase. With the increasing rate of unemployment in the country, the Nigerian Senate has asked the state and federal government to declare a state of emergency on unemployment in the country. Mr. Ike Ukweremadu, in a motion, said the country was sitting on a cake of gunpowder if nothing was done to control the unemployment situation in the country.
The Upper Sharia Court sitting in Gusau, Zamfara State, has adjourned the case of the alleged kidnapping and cattle rustling against a former Commissioner Ministry of Local Government, Alhaji Bello Dakande Gamji, to December 30th. The presiding judge, Alhaji Abdulhadi Sani Gusau, refused to grant bail to the accused person and ordered that he should be remanded in prison custody until the adjourned date. The judge had also ruled that the court has jurisdiction to entertain the case contrary to the accused person's counsel, that the court has no power to hear the case. The former commissioner was brought to the court 2 weeks ago for the alleged kidnapping of two people, Sani Naawala and Alhaji Jao. He was also charged for alleged rustling of 50 cows and 52 sheep belonging to the two people allegedly kidnapped. Barrister Ibrahim Haruna, who presented the case, said the former commissioner had instructed two vigilante group members, Saminu Gandao and Shitu Mafara, to conduct Sanina Awala and Alhaji Jao and also confiscate their animals. Gamji had denied all the allegations. The court premises were filled to capacity as hundreds of people were at the venue waiting to hear the court ruling on the charges against the former commissioner.
Former Zamfara State Governor Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar and some members of GH Group of the All Progressives Congress APC in the state have moved to resolve the crisis among the state party members. Zamfara APC spokesman Shehu Isa told the news agency of Nigeria on Wednesday that the GH Group includes Senator Kabiru Marafa, Dauda Lawal, Ibrahim Wakala, Mahmoud Aliyu Shinkafi, and Aminu Sani Jaji, among others. Malam Isa said Sani Jaji met Yari at his residence in Abuja on Thursday in that regard. He added that Yari and Jaji reviewed the crisis that the party faced during the 2019 general elections in the state and resolved to address it. The Supreme Court nullified the primary elections that produced all APC candidates in Zamfara and ruled that the first runner-up in all polls be declared winner. Both Yari and Jaji now agreed to resolve the differences and keep everything aside to move ahead in the interest of the party in the state. The state APC chairman Lawal Liman described the move as a good development. Alhaji Lawal Liman called on other party stakeholders in the state to reunite for the progress of the party in the state.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar, in Ibadan, Oyo State, said female Muslim students across the country has the constitutional right to use hijab in schools. He therefore enjoined parents to always demand for their rights whenever they are being denied within the ambit of the law. The Sultan said this while speaking at the 4th General Assembly of the Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, themed Muslim Unity and Contemporary Political Challenges in Nigeria, held at the University of Ibadan. Muslim leaders present at the event included the Executive Secretary, Professor Daoud Noibi, Chairman Board of Trustee, Prince Bola Ajibola, whose speech was read by Chairman Muslim Community in Oyo State, Alhaji Kunle Sane, former Minister of Communication, Barrister Adebayo Shitu, former INEC National Commissioner, Professor Lai Olarude, among others. The Sultan, however, cautioned those advocating for the use of hijab and various organizations championing the welfare of Muslims in the country to seek redress in a peaceful manner instead of open confrontations. Muslims must be law-abiding, pointing that if we start attacking each other, then there will be no peace. The Sultan enjoined the Muslim Ummah to be law-abiding, pointing out that the issue is at the court and therefore no further statement should be made so that we don't commit contempt of the court. The Sultan urged the Muslim community to be patient because Almighty Allah loves patient people. On the issue of hijab at the university, there are some organizations that are advocating for it. Let them continue advocating, but at our own level we have been doing ours silently.
The House of Representatives has directed the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services to investigate the alleged intimidation and extortion of money from universities for accreditation by the National Universities Commission (NUC). This followed a unanimous adoption of a motion moved by Rep. Sam Nwaso, PDP Anambra, Okparu Federal Constituency during the plenary, presided over by the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Idris Wasi, on Wednesday. The motion is entitled "Needs to Investigate the Allegations of Corruption in the National Universities Commission (NUC) during its accreditation of universities." Moving the motion, Mr. Nwaso said that the NUC accreditation system had been used over the years to maintain and monitor quality and high academic standards in Nigerian universities. He said that process to evaluate academic programs by the Commission was done every 5 years. The House also noted that in the course of carrying out its mandate, the NUC accreditation teams undertook the spot assessment of facilities, lecture halls, quality of education content, and laboratories, among others. This is to ensure that the universities meet up with the required standard of to run such academic programs to determine whether to revoke, withhold, or grant accreditation. The lawmakers expressed concern on allegations of intimidation and extortion of money from universities in order to ensure accreditation of their programs. Furthermore, the reps expressed concern that the alleged monetary demands for accreditation led to increment of tuition fees by some universities to meet up with the demands of the NUC accreditation teams. The House directed its Committee on Tertiary Institutions to investigate the allegations and report back within 6 weeks for further legislatives.
A non-governmental organization, Advocacy Nigeria, has vowed to fight all forms of corruption in the health sector, which it said has led to increase in maternal and infant mortality in the state. The organization made the vow during a one-day meeting with women politicians, NAWAJ, and civil society organization by an executive director, Saudatu Sane, who was represented by her special assistant Malam Abdullahi in Gusau, the state capital. Hajia Saudatu Sane charged women politicians in the state to inquisitively engage themselves in budget tracking with a view to ensuring that the funds budgeted for health were appropriately and judicially managed. She said time had come when women politicians should arise to closely work with the House of Assembly, a legislative institute where budget for health sector and for women health were legally decided. She said women, especially politicians, have access to both legislative and executive arms and can play integral role in the pursuance of rights for safer delivery for pregnant women, as constitutionally expected. In a paper presented by the State Secretary of the Nigeria Medical Association, Dr. Manir Bature Safe of the Federal Medical Center, Gusau, the association said record had it that 1,001 of every 100,000 pregnant women lost their lives during delivery. The chairman further said it was only women politicians that could intervene to end the high rate of corruption in the country, considering their roles in politics and their closeness to political office holders. Earlier, Advocacy Nigeria coordinator Malam Rabiu Sambo had encouraged women politicians to help save lives by tackling the challenges of maternal and infant mortality. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Fellow Nigerians, do you know that constituency projects are actually your projects? Do you know that constituency projects are funded by the federal government? Do you know that you can track release of constituency project funds for projects located in your constituency and follow up to know how they have been executed? Constituency projects happen because government does not want to leave any community out in development efforts. You have a responsibility to know what constituency project has been planned for your community, how much has been allocated for it, and whether value for money has been delivered. Take ownership of constituency projects located in your community. Protect them because they belong to you. Government knows about your needs and is planning for you. Government needs your help to ensure quality delivery. Know that constituency projects are actually your projects. Protect your constituency project. My constituency, my project.
For information on funds allocated to projects in your constituency, call 0800 2255 4272.
This message is from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. On business, Aminu Mariam has small detail.
Thank you, Joy. Welcome to Business News. Once again, I am Mariam Aminu. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, says it cannot guarantee industrial peace and harmony if state governors refuse to conclude negotiations and payment of the national minimum wage by December 31. In a communique issued at the end of its meeting with State Council chairmen on implementation of the national minimum wage, the union said there were currently 3 implementation categories in which all states fell into. The communique was jointly signed by NLC President Dr. Ayuba Wabba, NLC General Secretary Emmanuel Ogboaja, and Abdurrafiu Adeniji, National Chairperson, Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, Trade Union side. The communique noted that Kaduna, Kebbi, Lagos, and Adamawa states have commenced implementation and payment of the new minimum wage, while Jigawa had concluded negotiations but yet to make its first payment to workers. It also noted that Borno, Abia, Kano, Bayelsa, Sokoto, Niger, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Edo, Ondo, Ebonyi, Katsina, and Zamfara states have constituted a negotiating committee between their state government and labor, following consequential adjustments of salaries. States which have not put in place a negotiating committee between the state governments and labor on the consequential adjustments of salaries include Bauchi, Yobe, Rivers, Benue, Gombe, Kwara, Imo, Oshun, Ekiti, Oyo, Anambra, Taraba, Cross River, Ogun, Enugu, Nasarawa, Plateau, Kogi, and Delta states. The communique noted that organized labor in the states comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, Trade Union side, would work in harmony to ensure that all workers enjoy the full benefits of the new national minimum wage. The union urged state chairmen to immediately invoke an emergency state executive council meeting and state congress of all workers to brief them of outcome of the stakeholders meeting on the new national minimum wage implementation. States that are still on the discussion table category 2 should expedite discussions to conclude the negotiations on or before the 31st of December 2019. And that's all we have on Business News today. Thank you for watching. Back to Joy in the studio.
Thank you, Mariam. On sports, Sufyan Abubakar has small detail.
Thank you, Joy Musa. My name is Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I am with the sports update. Former Super Eagles head coach Austin Egbon has shown support for current Super Eagles boss Garnet Rowe, lauding him for his achievement with the national team so far. A 1994 African Cup of Nations with Nigeria and a 2-time World Cupper has said he has no problem with Garnet Rowe not living in Nigeria, comparing him with former successful manager Clement Westerhoff. The former Bayern Munich defender's contract is expected to expire in the next 6 months, but also he is expected to be given a fresh contract by the NFF. Meanwhile, Ghana denied comparing Eberechi Eze with Ejaria as Nigeria works to secure their services for the national team. Both players have impressed for their respective clubs this season, the former with QPR and the latter with Glasgow Rangers in Scotland. Reports earlier this week stated that Ghana has told the NFF that he is okay with only Ejaria playing for national team. And here's the UEFA Champions League update. On Wednesday, Atletico Madrid defeated Lokomotiv Moscow 2-0 at home, while Manchester City defeated Dinamo Zagreb away 1-4. Atlanta defeated Shakhtar also away 0-3 to seal qualification to the next round. Bayern Munich defeated Tottenham Hotspur 3-1, but the results means both teams have qualified for the next round of the competition. After this result, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Atlanta, Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur, Real Madrid and PSG have both qualified for the next round of the competition. Earlier on Tuesday, Liverpool, Napoli, Lyon, Leipzig, Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea and Valencia FC have all qualified for the next round. With 16 teams left in the competition, the draws for the next round of competition will hold next week on Friday. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to Joy Musa.
Thank you, Sufyan. And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday condemned the terrorist attack in Innit western region of Niger Republic near the Mali border, which resulted in the killing of 67 military personnel, with 34 people still unaccounted. Expressing deep shock and sadness over the heinous and despicable attack by terrorists that reportedly crossed in from neighboring Mali, President Buhari expressed Nigerian solidarity with the government and people of Niger Republic in the aftermath of the tragedy. Stressing Nigeria's strong condemnation of this terrorist attack, President Muhammadu Buhari reaffirmed the resolve of his administration to continue working closely with countries neighboring the Sahel. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara State government to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage to local government workers. Yari gathers Zamfara APC members for crisis resolution. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, says female Muslim students have constitutional right to use hijab. The Senate raises alarm over escalating unemployment in the country. On business, NLC prepares for showdown with state governors on minimum wage. On sports, Evergon support rower wants new clouds in fresh deal. On the international scene, President Buhari condemns terrorist killing of 67 soldiers in Niger Republic. All these and other stories of the SVTV can be viewed via our social media platform. That's the news on behalf of
Samira Ibrahim. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News.
I still remain Musa Joy Onyoda. Stay tuned.